the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
Welcome to the Biofriendly Podcast. Jacob here. We've got a Flashback Friday episode for you. We're throwing all the way back to the start of 2020. Yep, right around January, February of that year, right before things got a little weird in March 2020. So sit back, relax, laugh a little, and you might just learn a thing or two. There's too many jellyfish.
There are.
There's too many jellyfish.
And they sting and it hurts.
Yeah, and this thing says the top of this article literally does exactly what we're talking about. It says jellyfish are taking over the world. Bah! I'm gonna put a doom thing right there. And climate change. I'm gonna put a doom sound. And climate change could be to blame.
Okay.
That literally does everything you just said.
That just blew it out of the water. That was the perfect headline to explain what's wrong with America.
Yeah, jellyfish are taking over the world and climate change could be to blame. Yeah. So basically we have way too many jellyfish on the planet. And as I read in this article, yes, the water is getting warmer into areas that they normally couldn't have gone. They can get to now.
Okay.
And by the way they describe in this article, you're like, straight out of a horror film. It's like they have no brain, no eyes, no spine, not even blood. But they have a remarkable capacity to reproduce and can pack an impressive sting, both literally and figuratively. Yeah. So anyway, it's straight out of a horror film.
What's worse is certain varieties of them don't die.
Yeah. What?
They don't die.
Oh my gosh, why isn't there a film? There probably is. Jellyfish, the movie.
No, I mean that's not exactly right.
Well, but they die.
They do die, but they don't die from old age. Like they don't. Like they can die from like a disease, and they can die from being killed by something.
Right.
Or like, for tripping off over the wrong.
Falling off a cliff.
Yeah, falling off of a water cliff.
What is this water lead?
Yeah, they can die from those things, but not from like old age.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying.
As they keep reproducing, they ain't gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, they're beautiful to look at. Like I love when I go to an aquarium. I always love the jellyfish room, and I think they're really, really cool. But we have more than we've ever had before. And in this article, they've destroyed a lot of things. So like this is pretty interesting. Their populations.
They're the humans of the sea.
Yeah, basically, they are kind of the humans of the sea. They just won't go away.
Yeah.
And they sting, literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. But they've taken down, in 2011, both reactors at the Torness nuclear power plant in Scotland were shut down after an invasion of jellyfish started blocking the cooling filters.
Good for them.
2 years, way to go. 2 years later, the jellyfish struck again, this time in Sweden.
Wow.
Then the island of Luzon, home of the Philippines' capital Manila, suffered a blackout in 1999 due to jellyfish.
A jellyfish blackout?
Jellyfish blackout are playing
this Friday
at the Wiltern.
They are. Mm-hmm. Jellyfish blackout are maybe the best punk fusion reverse hip hop logo band I've ever heard.
Spot on. Out of the 90s.
Right, out of the 90s.
So I actually absolutely love Jellyfish Blackout. And in 2006, the USS Ronald Reagan, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, was brought to a standstill. That's unbelievable to me. A aircraft carrier.
A nuclear-powered aircraft. Have you noticed that
they went after nuclear things
for nuclears?
Yeah. They must sense something from it. So they shut all these things down, and while the water has gotten warmer, and that's been able to get them to other places.
Sure.
One of the things that it mentioned in here that I was like, see, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Their natural predators were eating them.
And their natural predators are?
I have one, which is anchovies.
Anchovies.
Yep, and then here's another one. Tuna. And swordfish.
So
the problem is jellyfish can thrive in areas with lower oxygen levels where other animals suffer. But there are other factors at work too. Fishing has depleted the global stocks of some of the jellyfish's natural predators. So one of the issues here is we're giving credence to just the temperature and they can spread and they can grow. But the truth is a lot of things that take jellyfish out of the equation, we're eating them.
So you're saying that if I have a tuna fish Caesar salad.
Yeah, with on a swordfish bun.
On a swordfish bun. That I am aiding jellyfish problem.
You are part of the jellyfish.
I'm part of the jellyfish blackout.
You're part of the jellyfish blackout, man. Yeah, no, it's so to top off this conversation is that here we have a species that is growing and there's way too many of them, and it can be kind of a problem because they can be invasive and be in places that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the article itself leads with
It's climate change.
it's climate change. But as you dig in, you go, it's not all climate change. Yeah. We're also eating the things that are killing the jellyfish. So, maybe have less Caesar salads.
Less tuna sandwiches.
Treat yourself to a tuna every now and then.
And know that if you have a nuclear-powered bathroom,
they will
probably
they will
going to
find
get clogged.
you. If you go surfing in a nuclear suit,
then you're going to get stung.
You're going to get stung so bad because they're going to smell you coming a mile away.
Right. If you become a radioactive superhero,
oh yeah,
and you're trying to save things underwater,
you're in trouble.
Expect that the jellyfish will attack you.
You're going to have a jellyfish blackout.
You're going to have a jellyfish
Gosh,
blackout.
I love that so much. Why is that great? I think we have to have another. I think we've in the course of this podcast we've started about 35 bands, and that might be in the top 5.
That's definitely one of the best.
Jellyfish blackout.
Jellyfish blackout. It sounds like
sounds
like a band I want to hear.
It sounds like a band that I have a cassette tape that's handwritten, and I got real creative with like the spirals on the letters, and it's like, oh man, you want to borrow this? This is Jellyfish Blackout.
You have Jellyfish Blackout? Nobody has a copy of Jellyfish Blackout.
Oh, it's so good. So a lot of these sustainable farmers, and there's a lot of groups out there that are doing this now because I think that the call to action has never been louder. And even farmers are like, well, we got to do something because I'm not going to be able to continue living and producing food.
Right.
So they've started rotating crops, which is you grow more variations of things. So you plant one kind, then another kind. You try different things that you can grow on the land. That's one of the solutions.
And to get on top of that one, just so people can get a
better idea of what that is.
So you need to know, world, that
listen up.
Farmers know this.
Okay.
Good farmers know this.
Yeah.
Farming families, people who have been farming, understand farming, they know this problem.
Right.
Because people have been growing food
for a long time.
Thousands and thousands of years.
Right. Okay? They're aware of this.
And this issue is an issue that's known, and good farmers rotate their crops. They always have.
Right.
So let's not just pretend like this is a surprise or this is something. This is happening because farming done by responsible farmers from families who farm has gone down. These farmers have been forced, in a lot of cases, to sell their farms
and made it like a big corporations, and now it's like a mass-produced. Hey, we got to have as much corn in this land as possible.
If you want to know how to destroy something, bring in an accountant
and try to find ways to cut corners and not spend any money.
This is not to disparage all accountants. I'm sure
we love you accountants out there.
Accountants have great things, but
our accountant fan base just went.
Now we can put them with the people of Kentucky.
Yeah, everybody.
The issue is that if you worry only about what is the most efficient and profitable way to do something, then you're not going to necessarily think about what is the most sustainable way to do something. What is the way to do something that will keep lasting? It's the classic Lorax. Right. If you haven't read Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, read The Lorax. The Lorax basically covers this. If you ever wanted to know what's going on, it's The Lorax.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can make thneeds so long as you have trees.
Or watch the movie if you don't have time to read the 10-page book.
This is so modernist of you. No.
Just go watch the movie.
Read a book. It's 40-something pages long with pictures and cartoons, and it's poetic.
I don't have time for that.
The movie will take you 2 hours to watch. The book can be read in 25 minutes.
You can read the book 5 times in the time of the movie.
This is the problem with America. It has nothing to do with farming. It has to do with the fact that people don't read.
Back to your point.
Back to my point.
Sorry. Read the book.
Read the Lorax. Read the Lorax.
And then watch it.
And what happens with... Yes, fine. After you've read it, watch the Lorax movie. Is that a Universal film?
Yes.
See, this is why. It's just, Jacob used to work at Universal.
He worked to work there.
He comes from Universal, so he's used to pitching their stuff.
Their stuff, right.
All right. So Lorax, if you go through, just read that book. It's a fun one for your kids if you're a grown up. If you are a kid, you'll get it right away. If you're an adult, hopefully your thick head will come to grips with it. But the basic concept is that you can make thneeds so long as you have trees. But once the trees are gone, not only can you not make thneeds, you've destroyed that area.
Yeah.
Okay, so read the book and you'll get an idea, because there is hope at the end of that book, and I like hope. We're all about hope.
Yeah.
But farmers have known this. Good farmers don't do this. There is good land because there are still good farmers. The corporations have made some errors, and we got to start doing something to get them to fix that.
Right.
And there's ways you can shop that can help with that. But continue.
Right. So that's one, the rotating. Not tilling the land. There are now a lot of farmers that are working ways to not have to plow as often or at all to farm. And then the final thing is cover crops, which is planting crops on top of the crops that they're growing to help absorb carbon and invite in more moisture and just help keep the bacteria and the natural life alive. So those are the three methods that good farming practices will help the topsoil recover.
Are you ready for a curveball?
Yeah, throw it to me.
Here's the curveball.
Okay.
Stop blaming cows for environmental issues.
Right? You mean the methane thing?
Stop blaming cows for anything. We blame cows for the fact that they become hamburgers.
Yeah, right.
For the fact that, yes, they produce methane, but cows get a bad rap environmentally, and it's garbage. It's not the cows. It's
back off the cows.
It's irresponsible farming, shoving thousands of cows into a tiny area where they're unhappy and can't live. But if you have, in a period of your rotating of crops, cows that are walking on the grass and pushing the grass into the ground and pushing the nutrients into the ground and pooping,
clip, clop, clip,
and adding from their poop nutrients to the ground. And fertilizer's okay, but fertilizer is just like anything else. It's subject to what a company's going to do to make the fertilizer last longer, be more efficient, and then to make more money. It's not natural fertilizer. If you let cows walk on a paddock and poop everywhere, and then walk on their poop and walk in the grass and eat some of the grass and then spit up some of the grass, their saliva gets in there and their throw up gets in there and all that stuff.
All delicious.
All helps make better soil. Okay? So stop blaming the cows.
So back off the cows.
You don't need to till the land as much, and you got cows walking around getting it all naturally tilled for you. Yeah. It's the whole. I think if there's one thing I want the world to get out of this, is that I feel like we give the cows too much trouble, and cows don't deserve too much trouble.
I didn't know there was as many people against cows. So that curveball took me by surprise, because I did not know there was an anti-cow. A cow defamation league.
Absolutely. Don't you see those Chick-fil-A posters out there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, those are pro-cow.
Yeah, those are pro-cow.
Yeah, my mistake. My mistake. Apparently people love cows. I was wrong.
Yeah, this episode was sponsored by Chick-fil-A. These and other impressive benefits of forest medicine are cataloged by physician Qing Li, chairman of the Japanese Society for Forest Medicine. So this is in Japan, okay? And this is in his book called Forest Bathing. So that's where this all came about. Forest bathing. That's why we're bathing in the forest.
What relaxed our shoulders. Okay? That's what got us leaning. Into the relaxation.
Exactly. And he said, in a quote, he said, "Look, I'm a scientist." Well, I didn't say look. That was a very American thing for me. Look, I'm a scientist.
I'm a scientist.
I'm a freaking scientist.
And
okay?
I think this is true.
Tree bathing is where it's at.
I got a degree, and therefore I'm right.
Yeah. He said, "I'm a scientist, not a poet, and I've been investigating the science." Yeah.
He straight up said, "I am not Ralph Waldo Emerson."
Yeah, he straight up said, "Where's Waldo? Not this guy. I'm a scientist, not a poet, and I have been investigating the science behind that feeling for many years." He wants to know why he always felt this sense of improvement. Mm-hmm. So that basically opened up this whole thing, and this has been going on in Japan for a while. Like in '82, the Japanese government introduced the concept of Shinrin Yoku, or forest bathing, urging citizens to make use of the country's 3,000 wooded miles for therapy. So let me try to find some more of the science behind this.
So are you saying we should not clear cut the 3,000
miles? We should
not
clear cut the forest. And if you got to clear cut them for some aspect, you replant them. You match it.
Replant it. Be responsible.
And so meanwhile, while this Japanese guy was going like, "Look, I'm not a scientist. I'm a scientist, not a poet." It says, meanwhile, an American scientist was formulating a thesis that explains why nature moves all people wherever they are from. And it says, according to biophilia, which sounds Heyo. The 1984 book by...
Sounds awful.
Yeah, biophilia. Biologist Edward O. Wilson. People have a biological urge to commune with the primordial Mother Earth. Boy, that's where it got some hippy-dippy right there. Right? So... Anyway.
I feel like we got to get some funk music going.
Yeah, no, we got to get. Well, I feel
some
like
nice slow jams.
This is slow jams, or no, you're right. It needs to be a mix of Enya with slow jams.
Yes.
So we need to have like that synth, like meditative music, but it also needs to be like a biophilia.
Yeah.
Sensual Enya.
Yeah.
Senya. Anyway, so. But
we should put this on the list of our weirdest podcasts.
Sure.
And that's a saying.
I think that's a compliment.
That's saying something.
That's saying
we have
something.
weird podcasts.
We do, and I think that this is the moment that we'll be remembered for. This is the proboscis monkey.
Oh, okay, pause on that.
Okay, males have large noses, which may help them attract females. So these are the monkeys that you've seen before.
with the big old floppy nose.
It looks like
they look like this.
It's like a water balloon that's half empty, dangling from their face, basically. And that I've always thought those things are hilariously adorable.
Right.
So I don't think
they're hilariously ugly, which makes them adorable.
Yes, because ugly can mean cute.
It's like when something's so hot it gets cold.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
Right. So these monkeys are so ugly, they're
cute.
Cute again.
Yeah. I feel like some mornings I look at myself and I think I kind of look like a proboscis monkey. So maybe I feel a little biased towards their attractiveness. I've just got to shower and put myself together and tie my nose back.
Tie back your proboscis.
Yeah, my proboscis nose. So that was one. So you've probably seen these monkeys before. Okay, next is the Titicaca water frog.
Oh, the Titicaca water frog.
Do you know about the
That's an ugly animal.
Yeah, that is an ugly animal.
That is great. Now, if you're going to be a frog, see, that's what I'm talking about. Now, look, see, this other frog, he was poisonous, but this frog looks like someone stretched him.
Yeah.
And then let go. And
This frog's excess skin allows it to breathe underwater for long periods of time.
I mean, that's useful.
Yeah.
Right? Like the proboscis guy's got the big nose for the ladies.
Right.
And then this one's got the floppy skin so he can breathe.
This guy's got a built-in blanket, basically. So like if you're like, hey, I want to snuggle, he's like, just climb on under here.
It's amazing that some of these, these animals struggle to find mates.
I agree. So the Titicaca, which is a great name.
It's a good name.
I don't know if I know any other stories behind. No. I'm going back there. I just was wanting to know if I found another thing about the Titicaca, like any facts about it, because the video doesn't say much more than the loose skin thing. Oh, wait, yeah, there it is. The Titicaca water frog is also nicknamed the scrotum frog.
Oof.
Yeah, so that might be one of the things that goes against.
Do we have to bleep that?
That's what I wanted to know. I feel like it's a medical stat. So
it's a medical stat.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave it alone.
So kids, ask your parents what a scrotum is.
Okay. All right. Back to the video. Sorry, that was my bad. Up next, after the Titicaca frog, we have the. I don't even know how to say this one.
Wow.
This is the
axolotl.
Axolotl.
Usually, I mean, like I can in
Latin America,
in Aztec society, the X is a ch.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's AX.
So I would say axolotl because the TL is also. It seems like an Aztec name.
Yeah. AXOLOTL.
Maybe Mayans too.
Yeah. But axolotl. I bet you did it perfectly. It says the feathery protrusions on each side of its head are gills.
Wow.
So that's an image of that one right there.
That's
that
a weird looking animal.
Weird looking animal, right?
Yeah, glad we paid attention to it.
Yeah. Here's one called the kakapo.
Kakapo.
Are you familiar with this one?
I'm not sure if it's a beaver or a bird.
Yeah, here's the race. It's a flightless bird. So look, this gentle flightless bird can grow to be more than 2 feet long, weigh 13 pounds, and live about 95 years.
Wow.
So look at it right there. It's kind of got an owlish.
He's sort of owly, hey, what an interesting sort of beavery, sort of bear-like, but yellow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a cool looking bird.
Yeah.
It'd be sad to see that one go.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I get the ugliness I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but very cool.
That one showed up on a lot of lists.
Okay.
So I think that one's a front runner in terms of and by the way, back to the axolotl, the one that we did before. So remember it says axolotl, a very rare salamander, are found in the wild in just one lake in Mexico. pollution, the pet trade, and capture for research has threatened the species. They're unfortunately, this is a bummer. They're experimented on by scientists hoping to unlock the secrets behind the axolotls' ability to regrow their limbs. So they got kind of like a superhero.
If you kill them all, you're never going to figure it out.
You're never going to be able to figure it out,
Boy,
right?
you jerks.
Jerks. Agreed. Okay, so this next one, everybody's going to be familiar with this one. And I'm glad that this is oh no, did my video start over? It did. It kept playing. Well,
it's okay, though, because you memorized the list in your research.
I did. I know which one it is.
Okay.
I already know.
What is
the
it?
number one animal.
What is it?
If you had to guess, it gets the most press as being one of the most hideous things on Earth. And I want to talk to the audience about it real quick. It's the blobfish.
The blobfish?
Yes, and I'm going to get you an image of it.
Okay.
This is what's not fair about the blobfish. This image came online.
Is it up yet? Can I point my finger for the blobfish?
Not yet.
No, it's not
No,
up yet.
because I want you to be able to see it when the video
When they
comes
see
out.
it.
Yeah. So
you have to watch. We have to wait through an ad now because of your refreshing.
Because of my unprofessional behavior.
So we're sitting here on a live podcast in front of all these fans, desperate for information, and we have to wait through an ad.
Call now.
For National Geographic.
Donors are waiting. You can help the less attractive Animals with Good Personality Foundation that Noel and I have just started.
Yes.
No, so
unlike
there it is.
Stupid, charismatic megafauna.
There it is. Unlike stupid. Oh, can I fast forward? Yes, I can. Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, so we just got through the axolotl. Then we're on the kookaburra or whatever this one was called.
We are nailing it.
You're nailing it. Okay, blobfish.
Wow, he's so sad.
There's the image.
He just looks sad.
Okay, so but here's the
poor
crazy
guy.
thing. Here's the crazy thing about the blobfish. I don't know if you know this or if I'm finally going to share something that Noel wasn't aware of. The Ugly Animal Preservation Society's mascot. So they have virtually no bones or muscles. The first image of a blobfish was shown the world, and everybody was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And everybody,
can we point now?
Yeah, you can point. Oh, it's up. It's up. You can
okay.
see it now.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, ugh. Now, here's what people didn't realize when they showed this. That's not what the fish looks like.
What was that?
That is what the fish looks like when you take him out of an incredibly deep ocean and bring him up to pressurized air. So he deflated and
that poor guy
and got crushed by he has no bones or muscles.
Right.
And is meant to exist way deep down in the ocean. And then the moment they brought him to the surface, it just completely wrecked his entire bodily structure. And that's what the fish looks more like.
Way
these
uglier.
Things.
Way uglier.
Well,
in
they
its
still.
natural state.
I've actually seen a better picture than this.
That fish
right here.
That fish looks like some kind of like a monster in a dream.
Yeah, it's very, very. Yeah, it looks like if it was giant, like the size of like a ship, we would be terrified.
We'd be yes, you
Yeah.
would, because yes. I mean, he's not. That's not a. That's. I mean, I get why he's not.
Yeah, he's not handsome.
Listed as the most.
He's got a great personality.
Totally great personality. But here's what's weird about it is I'm interested to know what happens because if you're deep in the water, there's more pressure.
No, so it says. Sorry, I did it reversed. It says with virtually no bones or muscles, its body gets structural support from its extremely pressurized underwater environment. So what's keeping it together is the pressurized underwater, deep down. That's what's keeping it all held together. And then the moment you take it up, it's like nothing's holding this fish together anymore.
Wow.
And so it just sinks like jello.
So he just turns into that sad.
And so that's sad, which you got to admit that was the saddest looking thing.
Oh, I
ever.
felt a lot. That's good
Right.
sympathy photo for the poor blobfish.
Yeah, and that is the mascot of the Ugly Animal Preservation Society.
Okay.
Because if you've seen that picture before, so I just feel like that poor animal didn't get a fair chance. Because if we all went and swam, a couple miles under the surface of the ocean, and we saw the blobfish, you'd be like,
Then we'd be like, oh my god, he's horrifying.
Yeah, no, you'd be like, it's kind of an ugly looking fish, but you wouldn't be like, oh my god, that's disgusting.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little reverse on this.
You liked it better when it would look
I
like a
thought
pile
that
of goo?
When he was a pile of goo, he at least had like that sad old man thing going for him. Like he looked like a sad old guy who was just like, I'm just ready to pass on to the next life.
This air is too loosey-goosey for me to live.
When he's down deep and he's all structured together, I'm just like, that's just kind of a...
Noel likes his blobfish nice and saggy.
I like my blobfish saggy.
You have to charge the car, right?
Yep.
You got to charge it.
Yes.
So electricity has to come from a power source.
It does.
right?
Yes.
So if you go in the United States, that's the thing, is every state has different strengths and weaknesses in terms of where their power comes from. So for example, West Virginia
Yeah.
is coal.
Yeah.
90% coal.
Absolutely. It's
So
the
all
capital of coal in this country. Yeah.
Charging your Tesla, charging your electric vehicle in West Virginia is nulling out and making it worse because the amount of energy that you're pulling to charge your electric car is worse for the environment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's been kind of a turn in this country in the last little while in terms of how much energy is produced in coal and how easy it is to get a coal plant up and running. So, I mean, there's a lot less renewable energy.
Yeah.
It works if you're running it on a hydro plant.
Right.
If you're running it on a dam, if you're
guess
running
what?
it on... Yeah.
Idaho
Yeah.
is predominantly hydro.
Yeah.
So if you're driving a Tesla or an electric vehicle in Idaho, you're nailing it. You're nailing it because in that state, all their power generation is like predominantly, it's like 60%, 70% hydroelectricity. So there was this fascinating thing from the U.S. Department of Energy. You can go in there and you can see what your state is and what it runs off of. Now, again, this isn't to not give you, to say that getting an electric car is bad, but it still is just to the point of we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet because where we're deriving our charges and our power and our energy, there's a lot still from coal. There's a lot still from gas, gas burning, and there's a lot from nuclear. So it's
and nuclear
is actually
nuclear. By the way, let's not give it too hard of a time.
No, actually, I think it's a thing that people always equate with. War.
A meltdown.
Meltdown.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a lot of good things to come from it.
Yeah. Well, nuclear is interesting because, and we can have a whole different podcast on this, but nuclear is completely clean.
Yeah.
If you talk about global greenhouse gas emissions, it's completely clean.
Yeah.
The problem with nuclear is the potential for meltdown and the amount of technology, the amount of money that has been spent to make that impossible has come out pretty well. Like they're a different thing than they used to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and throw up a big endorsement for nuclear. I think there's other options, but I'm just saying if you're getting your power from nuclear, it's not dirty.
Yeah, there was an article that I read yesterday just about the problems that Germany has been going into because they shut down all their nuclear plants and before they had their renewables ready to go and how much progress they lost because of that. Where if they had done them in tandem, it would have worked better. Anyway, I caught myself just a second ago saying nuclear, like I was
nuclear.
like I was George W.
You tell them where you grew up.
I'm from Tulsa, so I said nuclear.
That's how they say it.
And then I said, and then I thought in my head, I was like, oh, it's nuclear, nuclear. I think I said nuclear all through my youth for sure. So
from the nucleus.
The nucleus. Go to that nuclear power plant.
Yeah, nucleus of a cell.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that when you grow up in that's just how you say it there, right? We all have accents.
Yeah.
I think people give others too much of a hard time for what is an accent thing.
Sorry, I had to cough.
This cough brought to you by
Pepsi Cola. No, I had a little bit of an accent growing up, and actually we have people who listen to the show that are people I grew up with in Tulsa, and I felt like I didn't have that much of an accent growing up, but there's definitely words that slip out that I'm like, oh, that's how we said it. My dad, still to this day, says W.
Yeah,
he cannot say W.
W.
Yeah.
My wife makes fun of me because I say weekend.
We what?
Weekend.
Weekend. A weekend.
Yeah.
Just because the emphasis.
She's like, it's not a weekend. It's a weekend. You idiot.
That sounds like you grew up with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Weekend.
Well, in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
weekend.
That's my parents have said that my whole life, right? So there's random Australian, and sometimes like a whole phrase will fall out of him, and I'll have to stop in the middle because of
it's come out totally Aussie.
Completely forgotten how to speak.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, so I hear you. There's some stuff that just doesn't. You grow up with it; it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
But that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There is nothing wrong
with
it.
Your accent is fine, is what we're saying.
We all knew what you're talking, and I think you have a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent.
Thank you. Yeah. No, but this is a cool subject, and I'm glad we chose it because Noel and I had a conversation a couple days ago, and I just didn't know that much about it. I think that the general consensus of at least in the American people, is electric is the way to go, and we got it. Like if you have a Tesla, you made it, you did it. You know what I mean? Like that is the message. You got your your iPhone earbuds in,
Yeah.
and you got your latte, and you're cruising in your Tesla, and you're like, I got it all figured out, man. Look at me. Life is good.
Right.
And so that was
Just stop cutting me off on the freeway.
Right. Stop being, look, I got to be honest. Some of these Tesla drivers in LA are the worst.
I mean, there's a lot of,
I'm sure there's a lot of great ones.
of people who are wonderful probably driving their Teslas.
I'm sure.
But because it's such a noticeable car,
Yeah.
and because it's
That's what it is.
It's very clearly a Tesla.
It's a Tesla.
And
And they know it,
and
too.
they know it, right? And so when they cut you off at 10,000 miles an hour and completely ruin your day.
Smacking their gum with their aviator glasses on. Just
man. Or pop out of their electric spot in the parking lot and then kind of throw on the shades and they're wearing their Armani suit and the whole thing. It's like take a moment and realize that the rest of us have got to live too.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm still here, okay, Tesla driver. So, yeah, but that was during our conversation. That was the picture of my head that I had about them, and I think that they are great cars. I think that what they're doing is fantastic.
And I think to be fair, because you mentioned this to me when I was making this joke earlier.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who just want to do a good thing or trying to help driving those Teslas.
They saved up the money and they invested in it because they were excited and proud to get rid of a car that had gas.
And because they didn't cut me off, I didn't notice them.
Exactly. We didn't. If you're a nice, responsible Tesla driver, we can't see you.
We can't see you, and thank you for that.
Thank you for just blending in.
And thank you
with the rest of us civilians.
We're not talking about you. And we apologize. We made it seem like
no, but I'm glad we did this subject because we talked about it, and Noel obviously had a lot more understanding and history as to the trouble with the batteries and the mining and a lot of this aspect. And so as I dug in, I was like, this is something that the innovation still needs to be moving forward. There needs to be somebody who invents a battery that comes from, nothing we have to mine. I don't know if that's even possible.
But
it needs to run on farts.
If we can figure out a way to convert farts into clean energy,
that's what I want.
Then use that to power the Tesla.
I want a fart-powered car.
Right. No, or like how about a better cellular energy collection system, right?
Right.
So you don't need the battery. So
Totally.
you just convert it directly. Like right now, it's pathetic.
Will somebody please fix the solar panels so that they will absorb like 1 million kilowatts or whatever it can be to an inch?
That's hilarious.
But that's where we still need to keep going. So by all means, keep rocking it with those electric cars. But let's also be creative. Okay, what are we going to do with the battery once it's done?
Yeah.
What are more sustainable ways that we can get rid of that, or recycle the lithium and the nickel and the cobalt,
right.
And reuse them for things that are beneficial. And, there just needs to be always still solutions. We can't rest on our laurels and be like, well, we solved it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's still a problem if where the power's coming from.
I mean, that's the thing that we really preach here a lot at Biofriendly is that we have the environmental problems of today to deal with, and we need to confront those, no question.
Right.
But the environmental problems of tomorrow will confront us too.
Yes.
And
yes.
if we don't look a step ahead and start to think about what's next, then we'll just be in the same problem again. Because if we're running as we are right now, with what we're doing, and everything's electric and it's all renewable energy, we will still have a problem.
We hope you enjoyed this flashback episode. We are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment. We'll see you next time.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.